The tour is going really well. It's great to be back in the UK. You know, I lived here for 14 years here in London, so it's a big part of me in my life. So it's always great to come back, see old friends, and roam my old stomping grounds. You know, it's nice. And the tour's been great. We've been on the road for 2 weeks now, all over, you know, Scotland, England, Wales, going to Ireland tomorrow. It's been really fun. Mike Dolbert did a great job organizing this tour again, and all the sponsors are helping out. So audiences were great everywhere. It's been a lot of fun. Should showmanship be an important aspect of a performance? I think, you know, any kind of performance obviously has a visual element and component to it, and whatever you can do to entertain and to captivate and draw an audience's attention is good. You know, whether that's visual or sort of a sonic experience, both are important, I think. Of course, you know, my focus is always what I'm playing and the sound of the drums and you know, the music I play. But in some situations, it's really important to add a little bit of visual spice and flavor, just to, you know, kind of put people at ease, or just make them smile a little bit, and kind of pull them out of the intense focusing on complicated music or whatever it is, you know. So, and there's of course many styles of music where that should be the focus, you know, the visual aspect. You know, in pop music, it's all about confetti and blinking lights and bikinis, and you know, so so I say yes to that. Who or what is my inspiration? Well, I have many who's. There's many drummers that I admire that were huge inspirations for me growing up, starting with Buddy Rich and Ringo Starr in my very early drumming days, and then later Billy Cobham, Stuart Copeland, Vinnie Colaiuta, you know, anybody from Erskine to Simon Phillips and Weckl and Omar Hakim, Max Roach, Tony Williams. The list goes on and on and on. So many who's. And also people who are not so well known, you know, just people who are creative and interesting, original, and have artistic integrity. And what is interesting? It could be many things. It could be music, you know, somebody else's music. It could be, you know, an emotion created by anything from a movie to a poster, you know, or a person, a friend, you know, anything that inspires some sort of emotion in me, you know. And it sounds a little esoteric, but it's true, you know. Sometimes I'm angry, and that inspires me to play a certain way, you know. Sometimes I'm happy, and it inspires me to play a completely different way. So it's many emotions, you know, of everyday life, and so I draw inspiration from literally almost everything, you know. Other musicians and non-musicians alike. It depends very much on the drum set, how I tune my drums. It depends on how many drums I have. It depends on the sizes of the drums. It depends very much on the drum heads I'm using, so it's not an easy answer. If I take a standard 5-piece drum kit like this one, I would tune it in fourths, the toms. So at the kick drum and snare drum, again, a different story. The toms, if I have 3, would be in fourths, and the kick drum would be just above wrinkle status, very low. And I'm more interested in, of course, I'm interested in a lot of sub bass, but also good attack. So the two heads are tuned very differently. The batter head is literally finger tight. It has pretty much no tension at all. And the front head is a little tighter than that, just for a little bit of a sub bass and a good resonance. I muffle the kick drum, not a lot, usually just a little bit with a felt strip or a small pillow, very low. And the snare drum depends. I usually use more than one snare drum. So the main snare drum would be medium tension for good feel, good rebound. And I don't like snare drums too high. I like kind of a softer playing surface. It feels better to me. And I like I don't like these really kind of high-pitched snare drum sounds. I prefer a snare drum sound with a little more low end and a fair amount of buzz from the snares. And sometimes I tune them really super low. Again, just finger tight. They sound like a cardboard box. Blah. But I like that. So, and if I use more drums, I would tune in smaller intervals. You know, if I have 6 tom-toms, I would maybe tune them in thirds. If I have 2, it would be maybe a fifth apart. So the more drums, the smaller the intervals between them, of course. And kick and snare are always completely different. Kick low, snare medium, and that's my sound. What makes a drummer memorable and stand out compared to other drummers? Personality, definitely. Style, ability, skill, command, you know, technique. But I think the most important thing is originality, creativity, and how the person kind of translates that onto the instrument, which requires, of course, technique. And I think it's the right mix of those, you know, elements. You know, if you look at very original drummers like Stuart Copeland, I think, or, you know, if you look at more contemporary players like Chris Dave, you know, people like that, they're just quirky and weird. You know, they're not necessarily technically perfect, but they bring something very original and interesting to the table that's unique and very creative. So I think that's what makes, you know, somebody memorable for sure and different than anybody, you know, everybody else. But it's not just that. I think it also requires a certain amount of marketability, professionalism. So, you know, being and luck, being at the right place at the right time, and being punctual, and being friendly and polite, and being, you know, not a dick to people, and, you know, so forth. So it's a good mix of various important components. Creatively speaking, originality, I think, is the most important.